time for the weekly
Same
comment.
place, new time.
New time. We
New
went to the
time.
evenings. You know why?
Why?
Because it's better in the evenings.
It's better at night. So hello to our nighttime audience.
Good evening, evening people.
Evening people. I am Tamara Conniff.
And I am Jonathan McHugh.
We have a great lineup for you tonight. We have indie film composer Daniel Alcheh, who's going to talk about scoring The Trouble With Bliss, starring Peter Fonda, one of my favorites.
Michael C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall and Lucy Liu, which he not only scored, but he wrote all the original songs for.
Wow.
He also has a surprise for us, but I'm not going to tell you what that is yet.
Because that would ruin the surprise.
Right.
That's not cool.
No.
But you know what? Right now we have someone who's come all the way across the country. Christina LaRocca is here with us all the way from Brooklyn, New York. And
Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn is in the house. So please give it up for Christina LaRocca.
Woo.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, ooh, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, whoa. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, oh, whoa. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa. I just want love to come my way. Tired of all these little boys and all the silly games they just like to play, yeah. Sophisticated mama ain't afraid to speak my mind. But as time passes on, I'm starting to doubt I will ever find the one who will treat me right, the one to make love to all night, a real man to make me his queen. When will I find the man of my dreams? Hands that will hold me tight, never ever start to fight. Sweeter than sugar and cream between the sheets, it makes me scream. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, yeah. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, I'm not really looking, 'cause it is meant to be. When he looks me in my eyes, it'll happen naturally, yeah. Love has come, love will go, yet I'll always hold my head high. But as time ticks through that hourglass, I'm thinking Cupid is the line. Where is the one to make love to all night, a real man to make me his queen? When will I find the man of my dreams? Hands that'll hold me tight, never ever start to fight. Sweeter than sugar and cream between the sheets, it makes me scream. Ooh, ah, oh, 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 whoa, yeah. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa. Ooh, ah, oh, 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 oh. Come on, boy, come find me, make me a happy girl. Satisfy your mind and body, I'll be your diamond shining girl. Be the one you always reach for. You dream of the world tonight, and the warmth of my love will soak you up like daylight. Where is the one to make love to all night, a real man to make me his queen? When will I find the man of my dreams? Hands that'll hold me tight and never ever start to fight. Sweeter than sugar and cream between the sheets, it makes me scream. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah. Ooh, ah, oh, whoa, oh, whoa. Ooh,
LaRocca.
Amazing.
All the way from Staten Island with Freddie. Great piece of work.
Great song.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. And now it is time for the Comment News.
Love that segment.
So, it's been a pretty wild week on the Ultimate Chart. Finally, after weeks and weeks and weeks, Gotye, Australian singer-songwriter, has finally landed at, yes, #1.
Sensational song.
It is a sensational
I'll tell you
song.
a quick note. He did the song at Coachella, and the crowd was so rabid. They sang every word, and he did not give them the opportunity to sing out. And then as soon as it was over, people left in droves. He still had 4 songs left, and then he asked the audience to sing his next song with him, and they were flat as a pancake. And it was like, and people commented to me, it was like the biggest miss they'd ever seen of a artist with the crowd in the palm of his hand,
and totally
and missed the opportunity.
Well, and he also dissed Glee covered someone I used to know.
Oh, really?
And he dissed it.
Wow.
He was like, yeah, I didn't like that version so much. Well, you know, pop comes and goes, but right now we have yet another invasion of the boy bands. You know, we thought it was over with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, but no.
Back.
No, it's back. It's bigger than ever. It's The Wanted, who released their EP this week. They, of course, their rivals are One Direction.
But it's actually One Direction is actually younger in the scheme of the boy bands. Wanted has older fans, like my daughter, who's 10 and a half, who's in the house, Casey. Her favorite band, One Direction. So it's interesting how, even in that little subgenre,
but even
there's
Backstreet
older and
Boys
younger.
was like that.
NSYNC got the younger.
Yeah, and Backstreet Boys got the older.
Right.
Fascinating.
Boy band culture, it's a crazy one.
Yes, you know, and we of course are experts.
Yes.
Interesting. Of course, we know about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Red Hot Chili Peppers were inducted. It was amazing. They, in honor of their fellow inductees, are releasing a covers EP called We Salute You.
Nice.
And then in more boy band news, it's the Beach Boys.
The oldest boy band
the
of all
original
time.
Beach Boys.
Did you happen to read the review in today's paper?
No, I did not.
They thought that Brian Wilson looked so uncomfortable that he was like hating being there.
Well,
and so
Brian's a little cray-cray.
Yeah, he's a little cranky, but they're out there doing it. 50 cities.
They're releasing a new album. You can actually listen to the first single off the new album at thecomet.com. I say 50 years, you got back together, you're performing again. God bless.
Yeah, the ultimate boy band.
So what are you doing this week?
Well, you know, my festival role this month, we started
know.
with Coachella, and we talked about that. And then last week, the Thalassinos Yoga and World Music Festival, some great world musicians performing with great yoga instructors from all over the world. And this week, of course, Coachella turns into Stagecoach, which is the largest country festival in America. Huge acts like Brad Paisley, Miranda Lambert, Blake Shelton, Alabama, and newcomer to the country world, Sheryl Crow.
She's not a newcomer to the country world.
She's got a country record coming out.
Yeah, but she's always been a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
A little bit country, a little bit rock.
Oh,
but
please.
now she's going straight country. So she'll be performing Sunday night.
Well, she lives in Nashville.
That's true, she does. And also the return of the band Uninvited, if anybody remembers them. They were a big band, one of the biggest buzz bands ever signed in the record business, Bidding War. They'll be reuniting. Lots of country music.
I didn't even know. I'm excited.
Lots of country music out in the desert if anybody wants to go to Coachella. And then the following week, I'll be at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, so you'll see me on Skype, and you know everybody from Tom Petty. Bruce Springsteen's playing there this weekend, so we'll miss that.
Thank God we have our official festival reporter.
Yeah, I am Joe Festival, and the anti-Jason.
And the anti-Jason Kramer,
yeah,
who will be back with us at some point, we promise.
Once festival month's over, he's coming back.
And it's also Brit Week in LA, so he's off with the British fans.
Exactly.
But now we have composer Daniel Alcheh. But first, take a look at this clip. Welcome to the Weekly Comet.
Thank you for having me.
That's a fine actor, that Michael C. Hall, isn't he?
He's great. He's great.
So the film is called, as I have visuals, The Trouble with Bliss, which stars Michael C. Hall, whom we love.
Lucy Liu, Peter Fonda.
Lucy Liu, Peter Fonda. How did you get involved with the project?
Director Michael Knowles was living in New York. He moved here. I moved here a few years ago, about the same time, and we did a few films together in the past, some short films of his, and he called me one day and said, "I'm working on putting together this feature. Are you interested in scoring it?" And I said,
Yes,
"Well,
I am.
You're like, yes?
Yeah, and he gave me a script, and I read through it, and it took a while. These independent films take a long time to put together.
Yes, they do. You got a good
Slowly,
cast?
very good cast. Yeah, there are other, aside from these three, there are some other great actors. Chris Messina is in it, and Sarah Sheehy, who now has a TV show, and yeah, great people.
So what's interesting about it is that the director's not Greek, and you are not Greek, though you have ancestry that is
Yeah,
Greek.
but no one knew.
But
no
the
one knew.
score is Greek-inspired.
Right. The director, when we started talking and thinking how we can make this a little bit more interesting than just a regular romantic comedy, had this idea. There's a backstory of Michael C. Hall's character. His mother died when he was younger, and she was Greek, and he's kind of stuck in his life, and he's waiting for something to happen to push his life forward. And so there's that Greek backstory, and Michael, the director, said, you know, I think if we did that, and the whole score would be kind of Greek-inspired, not too much, but a little bit of it will be there. It'll create something interesting.
And what was your instrumentation primarily?
So it was kind of like a band type sound. We used clarinet, accordion, a band, meaning bass, guitars, acoustic, electric, and I even had a chance to play some solos.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I actually brought the instrument.
On what did you play these solos?
I know you asked, so I brought it with me. It's called a melodica.
Melodica.
Yeah, it's a funny little instrument. This one is actually really funny.
I want one.
Because it's a little piece of plastic and metal, and I got it on the street and in a little sale, and
Street
it cost
where?
in New York,
Ooh.
and it cost.
And I want to go to that street.
And it was a few years ago, and it cost 99 cents, believe it or not. And now it's Sony,
99
and now
cent
Sony
stores got
Classic, and now Sony Classical has the playing. So yeah, and it's.
Please play it for
Yeah,
us.
I'll play the theme a little bit. Yeah, it goes like this. It doesn't look very attractive, but. Something like that.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
it's,
a cool
That is
and we
really,
were able to
really
do
cool.
some ethnic stuff with stuff like. So you get.
Snake charmer.
You were
Yeah,
very
exactly.
adept at that instrument.
Yeah, I use it. I actually use it a lot. I did a TV series with another friend, composer, Daddy Tour, called Svetlana. It was on HDNet.
Oh, that's right.
And it was another one of those shows it was Russian type thing going on. So we had accordions and mandolins and.
Well, you started
this
playing
was,
piano at 7, so this is sort of like a lot littler.
It's a funny little thing that I love using. It's always handy. You can take it anywhere. And,
That's very cool.
yeah.
And you also worked with some very well-known Greek artists who
Yes.
sang some of the original compositions.
Yanni?
Did you
No.
just say that?
Joking.
No, we had in the film we had 4 tracks that were written as background music for bar scenes, etc. And when we were thinking of putting the soundtrack out, I came to the director and said, you know, I think that if we found some artists, some Greek singers, famous artists, that would be we can create songs out of those 4 longer tracks.
Oh, cool.
And so we had some amazing singers. And
Did you bring them in from Greece or?
no,
just
we
New York?
recorded them in Greece remotely. Like these days, it's possible.
Sure.
We actually joked about this. If this was 20 years ago, it would probably take 6 months to put this together because
Right.
we would ship materials and have DAT and cassettes and reels sent. But now with the internet, it was just amazing.
Right.
Amazing studios and amazing technicians and everything online and posting and sending. And it still took a month or two, but
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah, and they did an amazing job. I thought they were great.
And you're also been commissioned for some concert pieces.
Yeah, I tried to do.
You just try to dabble.
I tried to dabble here.
Diversify.
Yeah, I try to do as much as possible. Some concert music. I come from that a little bit. When I was younger, I did more of it. And these days, with all the film and TV music, it's.
Did you grow up in Israel? Or did you grow
I
up?
did grow up in Israel.
And that's where you started playing there?
Yeah, yeah. And so I have two commissions. One of them was performed last week, and it's a festival in Switzerland. And
Switzerland.
So, oh,
What do you know
you
about that?
have a Swiss
I know,
thing
I'm so
going.
excited.
You got a
are-
major Swiss thing going on.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I have family there too. So there's in 2 or 3 weeks there's a big the bigger commission is going to be played then. It's a septet.
So you love mixing, composing, and playing live? And
I don't play much. This was
That is straight
actually
composition.
Wow, no,
yeah,
you just played
So that was it? That was like a rare...
that was it. That's it. Never again. It's not gonna probably never
Yeah,
gonna
I
happen
mean,
next
hello, everybody. That was
it's
a
gonna be a
rare
decade.
moment.
Yeah,
Any other films that you're working on that you can tell us about?
nothing at the moment. I hope there's something coming in the summer. We have a screening of a film that I scored last year. It's opening. It's the screening at the Newport Beach Film Festival. Actually,
coming
in
up.
a few days.
Yeah, that is.
I was there last year.
You're the festival man.
Yeah,
did. I was there.
we opened. Trouble with Bliss opened the festival last year.
Oh, it did?
We were the opening film. And this year, it's a Chinese film. It's a drama called Son of Stars, and it has a woman with an autistic child who has to go into the city, big city, and so very interesting film. And 1st of May,
Well-
8 p.m.
Well, please keep us posted. Again, The Trouble with Bliss. It is on video on demand right
It
now.
goes on Video on Demand.
And the
still
sound-
running
New
around the
theatrical
country.
distribution.
Yeah,
VOD.
exactly.
Exactly.
Right. And the soundtrack's available on Sony Classical. You can,
iTunes, Amazon, or any other retailer.
but you will only get the special performance
That's
here
Your comment.
at the Weekly Comet. And
We do
thank
some
you
great stuff
so
here at
much
the
for
Comet,
joining us.
Thank
and
you for
we're
having
going to be
me.
back with more
Thanks so
Christina
much.
LaRocca.
Thank you.
But first, check out this clip of hers.
Gotta get away, gonna run away, not to hear on now, makes me hungry. Gotta get away, gonna run away. No, I shouldn't succeed, but no, let's hear his play.
And that was Christina LaRocca live from South by Southwest doing some renegade performing and videotaping.
Again, thank you so much for extending your trip in LA so that you could be with us tonight.
Yeah, I love it out here. It's going to be really hard to go back.
Yeah, once you, as New Yorkers, you grew up in Staten Island where I grew up, and we didn't know each other, but as you come out here for the first time, you're like, or not the first time, but still, it's a hard place to get out of your skin. For me, that's what it was. I never left.
I felt that
after.
way about New York.
New York's got that energy. You love that energy, man. You
I do.
thrive on the energy.
I have issues.
But when you live there, it's a beatdown.
Yeah, I
It's
realized
awesome.
that too. Why do you think I'm back?
It's awesome, as they say in New York. But it's a beatdown. So tell us about you balancing the business side of it with El Rock Entertainment and performing, and you book. Tell us about that.
Yeah, tell us about
the hustle.
So you're literally an artist and a businesswoman.
Yes, yeah, definitely a do-it-yourself artist. About 6 years ago, upon graduating college, don't do the math.
We don't do math here.
Good. I just started booking my own band, at the time, and I loved it, and I just got the fire for it, and I just started meeting all these other musicians and just started booking, and now it's snowballed into my own company, LRock Entertainment, booking artists and venues in New York City and hopefully LA,
That's right, you got
there's a good chance.
project you're working some things.
If you check out the website in a few weeks, lrockentertainment.com, you might see something going on in July out here. So, yeah, I love it. I just love live entertainment, whether it's myself performing or helping others perform. And
Right, I met you through my brother who has a New Century Booking in New York, and you guys book shows together. And
yes.
How did you guys meet? How did you guys find common?
Me and Mike both worked for New York City Gigs, which is another agency in the city, and yeah, that was about 6 years ago. So yeah, I've known him for a while now. Yeah.
I'm just terrified that there's another McHugh.
There's all sorts of McHugh.
Yeah, and I've met Mike.
No,
and
we're not a very big family. We're a small
And
family.
it's just like, wow, there's another one of you.
He's the New York version.
Yes. Mike is the man.
So your music is very soulful. How would you describe your sound at this point?
I know you see me performing, acoustic. The record, I'd like to say it's a cross between Rihanna meets KT Tunstall with Alicia Keys' vocals.
So R&B, rock folk.
Yeah, folktronica.
Ooh,
even if you want to
folktronica.
throw that one
So the
in
electronic
there.
show gets a little crazy, huh?
Yeah, So I'd say like a modern version of R&B. So yeah.
So what's your latest release? I know you're distributed through The Orchard. Tell us sort of what people can look for.
My latest record is called I Stand Tall with Eyes Wide Open, and it's the first line of the last song on the album, and you can find it on iTunes, eMusic, anywhere that you buy music online, or you could go to ChristinaLaRoccamusic.com and you'll find the source there too.
So you gig, how many times a week you figure you play, and also what's the second question follow-up, what's the New York scene like these days as far as ability to find gigs and clubs and the live music scene in New York? How is it?
There are so many bands in New York, it's really overwhelming, and there are definitely enough venues to house them all. Depends what kind of gigs you're looking for. If you want to look for a gig where you don't get paid and you're passing around the tip jar, that's a fairly easy gig to find. If you want to be a working musician and actually make a decent salary, then you definitely have to work your way up there. So my band, we do a combination of, we'll play gigs where it's original music only, we do gigs where it's cover music, we do gigs where it's both, events, a little balance of both to just make a little extra change,
And covers seem to pay, actually, there's weddings and things like that, and the covers actually pay, whereas originals are not so much, right?
Exactly. I could play a gig with my band. It could be a cover gig. There'll already be people at the bar, and they just kind of want to hear the music that they know. So we make them happy and, throw the originals in between. And then, like I said, we have the gigs where, you have to bring your own crowd and, your own fan base. And
Tell us about the two songs that you're performing. You performed Freddie. So what was the inspiration for that song?
Freddie is actually a collaboration between me and my producer, Josh Glazer, J Glaze Productions, who helped me do the whole record. And we both wrote that song. Actually, he came up with the beat. And I had written the song. It was actually kind of a special moment. I'd written all the lyrics and the melody days before, literally days before, and I went to go work with him on something else, and he played the beat for me, and I was like, wow. And I just took out my lyrics, and it fit perfectly, and I was like, wow, this is something special. And he actually named the beat Freddie. I don't even know anybody named Freddie.
Right, Freddie.
But there's so many cool songs with that have Freddie. Freddie's just a cool name.
It's a cool name.
Yeah, it is. So I kind of just let it be.
And what about the next song that you're performing?
Call Your Name. Actually, on the album, it's a house track, believe it or not. But the way you saw me play it, is how it was written.
Wow.
So I kind of like the duality of it.
LaRocca in the house.
And that's just a song about kind of overcoming the fear of love. People get scared sometimes, when you find someone and you're like, oh man, this is for real, and you get scared. So it's kind of just, you hear me call your name, just don't be scared.
Great.
Well, with that, please play it for us.
Sure.
And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Wow. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's a really big show.
And like next week is going to be huge.
We got people. We got lots of people. We got composers.
Liza's
we got
gonna be
supervisors.
here.
We got great talent.
Liza.
It's the Weekly Comet every
We're going
week.
to have Eric Dill. It is the Weekly Comet.
Click 5. That was a big band. They had some hits.
Yeah, they had some hits, and his solo stuff is excellent.
Yeah, you got a pretty good taste in music. I like your taste in
You
music.
think?
Yeah, I do.
I have moments.
I have moments. I have moments too.
Christina, are you ready? All
Yeah,
right,
you're right.
over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christina LaRocca.
Yay!
Thanks for sticking around, everybody.
Ooh, I know you want it. It's evident and clear now. Earn it. Before disappear, we get high. Dance across the stratosphere. Move with me. And sweat until you hear me call your name. Like a fire in the brush. This love can't be tamed. Take you in my arms and I'll be yours. You will hurt no more when I call your name. Ooh, I know you're in it. When my heart is beating near, come closer. Bodies will adhere, I will stay. No, I will let you near, don't be afraid. Where there's love, there is no fear, and I will call your name. Like a fire in the brush, this love can't be tamed. Take you in my arms, and I'll be yours. You will hurt no more when I call your name. Your name. Your name. Your name. Your name. Your name. Oh, I know it's love. If you're quiet, you will hear every note. Symphonic in your ear, time will tell, yeah. Where we'll go from here, follow my voice and we will know exactly where to go when I call your name. Like the fire in the brush, this love can't be tamed. I'll take you in my arms and I'll be yours. You will hurt no more when I call your name.
Woo! I want to hear the house version of that.
Thank you, man. That was great.
Thank you so much for being on the show, you
you,
guys.
guys.
Christina LaRocca, everybody.
Thank you,
Staten Island in the
please.
house.
Thank you.
Tune in next week. We'll have Liza Richardson, music supervisor, and we will also have Eric Dill. We will see you next week. Bye.
See you, Casey. Love you.
Bye.